The classic Lady Dior in medium. This bag, everybody knows it. If you're into luxury goods and designer handbags, you know this bag. It is the classic of classics. And so I want to review both of my older edition vintage bags in the beautiful red with gold hardware that is in immaculate, like new condition. And this very fun, more limited edition one that I love to use my charms on and has very cool vintage straps. So let me walk you through these. Is it worth it? These babies run for $8,600 Canadian right now. So, how much did I buy these for? Where did I get them? How have they worn? And everything about these bags. So, let's dive in. These are one of the quintessential classic luxury designer handbags. Right now, if you were to purchase the medium, which both of mine are, you're looking at around $8,600 Canadian, and that is for the classic bag. They also have the very cool ABCs, which have the strap, which comes with, I believe, 3 charms you get to put on. They've got lots of different varieties even now. The Lady Dior has come out in what is this lambskin leather, which is one of the classics, as well as patent. And if I'm not mistaken, patent is almost like it's got layers and it comes off very glossy after. However, it does make it very susceptible to dirt and colors permeating it. So if you look over time, patent can look worn and kind of gross in my opinion. So if you have the ambition to take care of that bag and baby it the way it needs, by all means the patent's very cool, but it's just not something that I want in my handbag. So I've stuck to the leather, which is this beautiful lambskin for both of my bags. So when you're looking at buying this bag, yes, it comes in the leather and the patent. It has also come out in every color of the rainbow. This bag has not changed much through time. It was made famous in 1995 by Princess Diana. And since then, it really has not changed. So I'm going to tell you everything there is about this bag. But I can tell you one of the major differences now is that instead of having a zipper closure, because it's kind of limiting when a bag is just stopped at both ends, there's no kind of overhang for the zipper. It makes it so that it's not as easy to get in and out of. So I think that's why they changed it to kind of this fold over pocket cover, I want to say. But then you're digging through that anyways. So as far as, you know, comfort, usability, I really didn't like that style very much. And so, I think it's pretty hit and miss. That might be something that you want to look into depending on your style, but these are both of the older editions where it's got the original zipper with the original toggle. I'm going to tell you how I got both of these bags. This is, again, I've said it a million times, this classic bag. It's something I've always wanted. It's so polished and sophisticated, something that I really did want in my collection. And I wasn't planning on buying two, let alone two in the same year, but this one became available. Purchased it for $3,900 Canadian on Luxe du Jour, which is a pre-loved reseller in Canada. I really like to work with them because they are headquartered in Calgary, just a couple blocks from where I work, so I can go check out the bags, see the true condition, see the color, really get to know the bag before I make a purchase. And it's also nice that I can have a relationship with a sales associate there. So they've also got really good policies. One thing about these bags you have to know is because they have not changed through time, because they are so popular, because they are so expensive, and they are so well known, there are a lot of fakes, a lot of dupes. So if you want a genuine product, just be careful because there are so many counterfeits. So you have to be super weary when you purchase something without some sort of verification system or something that will give you a refund. Luxe du Jour will give me a refund if I find on a third party authenticator these bags are not authentic. This one I don't have an entropy certificate for, though Luxe du Jour does use entropy to authenticate all their bags before they list them. I don't have any certificates. I do have the original authenticity card, but for my pink one, I have both the entropy certificate and a legit grails as a second check because it was so unique and it's a little bit more vintage that it was hard to know that it was real. I honestly thought it might be fake when I first got it. So I got those extra things done, but they are both authentic. This red one I purchased again for $3,600. This was in pristine condition. It had the plastic still on the logo, the keychain, and you can see it's still on the clasp to the strap. So this bag I keep more for my evenings out. I haven't even used the strap yet because I just top handle or put this on the crook of my arm because again, I'm going out, I'm dressed up, we're going on date night for dinner or the theater, whatever the case. And so this is also why I like the red. It adds a very sophisticated feel to it. I think red is it's a bit more polished. It's something you can really wear with a lot of the colors you're going to wear for an evening out. So this one I keep a little bit in more particular shape. You'll notice that I have some bows on the top of each. Those are just to protect the handles. So if you were to store these bags with the handles down, which they would naturally rest that way, they can make indents over time into the lambskin leather. So I do this as a way to protect the outside. It's held up really well. I just make sure that I use something that's not going to color transfer on my bags. I do it actually with all my bags and all handles just because I don't want to run the risk. They all stay far away from each other and in nice condition. As just an overall side note on how to take care of your luxury hand goods, is when I'm storing my handbags, I don't keep them in the dust bag, but I do keep them in this cabinet behind me, which does have glass doors, and it's not in direct sunlight at all. There will never be the sun beaming on these things. And I, again, keep the handles upright and I make sure they're not touching one another. You know, I have my beautiful lambskin coussant, which is in white, and I would really be scared to have that resting on things. I've heard of, people who even have a canvas bags and the white is just touching another bag and through time it'll get color transfer. So I'm just picky from the beginning to make sure that it goes well. I also want to tell you about this pink bag before we dive into everything about the bag. So this one I got on a screaming deal. That's why I bought this one second, not really when I was planning, but I had my eye on it because the color was outstanding and then it went on sale. So it's nice because this is a bright pink with the silver hardware. It's very cool tone, which works really well with my palette because it's really worn in and it was super affordable as far as Lady Dior's go. Trust me, $2,200 is not a small amount, but on a Lady Dior, that's a steal. I have yet to see another Lady Dior, even kind of a old patent yellow one that's got the color discoloration to it, go for this price. Another nice thing is that I can use bag charms on it. I think this color is super fun. I love using it in summer. And then I can put all my silly little bag charms, which I'm going to go through with you, on this thing, and I don't mind that it might mark it up. So far, I've had no issues. When I store this bag, I take all the charms off just because, again, indentation, color transfer. But I put them on to show you guys what they look like. So this is my more fun bag when I'm running around with my young daughter and I'm gonna kind of bash this around. I don't care nearly as much because it's already been worn in. When I bought it, it lost a lot of its shape. You can kind of see now that this is much more pillowy. It's not as structured as the red one because it's seen a lot more love and wear. But that's why I bought a purse organizer, which I really buy for all my bags. But I knew that would really help keep this structure because it's nice and thick. So it's done a lot of good. It also had almost kind of like a bit of grime on it, like dirt. And so I thought I could clean it up really well. Worked beautifully. If you're interested, what I used was this Bic 4 leather conditioner. I believe it's actually made for saddles, but what's important is it won't darken the leather, this one. And so I use this on my Lady Dior and it was great. Always spot test. Do not take my word for it and just go buck wild. But I used it on my Lady Dior and it was great. It cleaned it up really well and it also helped protect it. So I'm very, very happy with that because now it looks great. Honestly, it's fabulous. I love this bag. The real wear you're going to see is on the hardware, and I'm going to walk you guys through that later. Let's just jump back to the red bag and let me walk you through the measurements and what's inside, what you can expect from this bag, and all the details. What's nice about this being a higher end bag, I know so many designers are not including little feet on the bottom, but these are standard on the Lady Dior's. It really protects because this is a nice soft lambskin leather. It's not going to be as durable as a calfskin. So you're not going to want to set it on anything, but at least it's got these feet, which really help keep your bag safe. And then the handles, which can move a little bit. They move a lot more on my more worn in bag, but on this nicer bag, they're much more stiff. And you can see that there's hardware around the outside, and it's got the Christian Dior CD there as well. And one of the nicest things about this bag is the Dior charm. Some people get mad because it jingles, but really, okay, I'm like shaking it and it's making that much noise. It's not that bad. And a little jingle while you walk is kind of fun, right? So I don't think it's too obnoxious. I'm not sprinting with this bag, so it's not going to be crazy. But the charm is super nice, and in a little added details, it says Christian Dior underneath. So again, I love these. I think it's really nice, especially in the day and age where we like charms. I've always had charms on my bag. My vintage Speedy, that's like a soft Speedy, I had little owls on forever, so I'm full game for all the charms. This one still feels pillowy. Oh, it's so beautiful. And you can see the detail in the stitching, these poofy patterns, like they've still got the cushion to them, which is really nice. You can see the detailing in the beautiful stitching on this. It's such an elegant bag. So the handles are curved on the outside, flat on the inside. You can easily hold them top handle. I often put them on the crook of my arm. There's not an exceptional amount of room, so if it's winter and you've got some giant puffer on, I don't know that your arm's fitting through there, but you can always carry a top handle. In the top, like I said, the new styles have this kind of folded over flap. These have zippers, and this zipper still works amazing. It's got this beautiful toggle to it with the Christian Dior stamp because it's just contained in itself. The zipper doesn't have the part that extends over. Then you're looking at not as much room. So that's about as much room as you're getting for putting your hand inside. So what do I have in here? So I have the strap, which is still in a bag with a cover. So there are 5 belt loops because it is the belt loop style. And again, there's some beautiful Christian Dior details, and again on the ends, which can fully rotate, so you're not going to get tangled. So if I were to go end to end on the largest setting, it is 47 inches long for the longest strap. I also have the dust bag in here. And again, as I said, with all of my bags, I have a bag organizer. So really, I might use the pockets, but a lot of the time I just use it as a protection to the lining of my bag because I am not the epitome of responsibility when it comes to the interiors. You can see that there's a inside zipper with a matching leather to the outside and a pull tab in the matching leather. It says Christian Dior made in France. If you look underneath that tab, that's going to be where your serial number is. So I'll just give you an idea of what that looks like. Not sure if you can see in there very well, but it's also got this cool kind of printed textile lining that's very common in the Lady Dior's. It's generally what it is. I just have a white purse organizer just made of felt on the inside. Okay, so let me walk you through the pink one. So the measurements are all going to be the same. So these are both medium-sized Lady Dior's. There are small, mini, there might mini or micro, there's larges. So there's a lot of variety. There's even some east-west bags. But for the medium, the length is 9.5 inches. The height is 7.5. And you can see it's got a kind of a triangular shape down the side. So if I were to go, the widest part is 4.5 inches, and the most narrow is 2.5 inches. And so when you're looking at the zipper, there's about an inch of leather on either side of the zipper. So on this bag, I like to keep my charms. So I have the classic Dior charms and then the rest here. So I wanted to give you more detail about this bag because it's actually a little different than the typical Lady Dior's. So again, you can still buy a medium Lady Dior on the website. These things will stand the test of time. I'm sure they're popularity will peak and flow, but they will always be one of the most common and well-known designer handbags. So inside, again, I have the dust bag, but one of the cool things about this bag is it's got some unique straps. So instead of having the classic long strap, we have 2 shoulder straps. So again, it's got the same clasp at the end with a Christian Dior on it, but this, you can see, it's got a bit of a woven leather pattern in it. These, I mean, you could, I guess, clip them together to make a crossbody, which would be gigantic and long, but if you're tall, that might work for you. But how I will often wear it is you can clip each of them on. I'll just clip one on to show you. And it's a shoulder bag style. So you could put it cross if you just wanted to have one and kind of keep it balanced. I generally put on both. It also kind of adds to the maximalist aesthetic of it because it's kind of just meant to be a fun bag. And so each of these straps they are 29 inches long. And again, it came with 2, and they are both the leather as well. So on the inside, you've got the more classic Lady Dior print. It's got the pink leather, again, with the single zipper and pouch there, which I don't use because I've got the bag lining. So this one, I put on my bag charms. So some of these I ordered through Etsy, some are from my daughter, and some are from Mexico. So I'm going to walk you through how I made this seemingly obnoxious collection. I'm going to walk you through all the different charms I have and slowly peel them off. So I have this little bear. I think my daughter got it like at Ardene's or something. We have matching ones for our purses. He's cute. What else do I have here? I have my collection from Mexico. So I have, I don't know, this is like my favorite thing. It's this stupid little dark blue shrimp that looks, oh my gosh, I just had to have them. It's pretty cheap, but that's okay. I also have kind of one of the little classic parrots. My daughter and I have matching ones. And then this is kind of my favorite. I have a little chili pepper. I also have a frog, but he lives on my phone chain. Then I have this second phone strap that I carry. The person who sold me this Etsy chain also gave me these extra little keychains. So let me just take those off. It's cute. I honestly didn't expect them, and I just keep them on my bag because they're almost the exact same color pink. I bought this off Etsy, and I think it's really cute. I actually quite like it. I have to say, I'm the cool mom at daycare drop-off. All the little girls, it's full of smiley faces, little rainbows, all sorts of colors. This to me is like the happiest little keychain, and I bought it on Etsy. I'm super happy with it. It comes in a beautiful little green pouch, so just know that when I store these, again, I do not keep any of the charms on because I do not want to damage the bags. I won't review the wear and tear on the red one because it doesn't get nearly as much use, and I'm trying to show you, like, once you do a lot of wear, what it could look like. So I'm going to pull out the bag organizer I have. So you can kind of see it's a little bit collapsing in its shape if I were to push it around, which is not ideal. But if you're going to be carrying it around, it's going to kind of crumple a bit. And I've been wanting to add to its structure instead of, adding to the fact that it might crumple. So I feel that, if I'm pushing in and out, you can see there's more give in the bag than would be when you buy it new. So adding that organizer is really helpful if you buy a vintage one that's a little bit more loved. As far as the leather goes, it's still got some nice cushion to the puffy like hexagons. It's just that it feels a little less stiff, the leather, which is nice in a way because you do want to wear in the leather, but the bottom is still nice and hard. It's still got really good shape. There are no big gouges on this. Like, that's the thing, is when I bought this, I was like, yes, it needs a little help with its shape. It needs a little scrub, but really the leather's in beautiful condition still. The handles are in decent condition. There's just one little spot where I've got a white mark here, but even then it's not that bad. There's no big scratches. Like, this is held up wonderfully. The keychain does move around a little bit more, and the handles move around much more. That's okay. To me, that doesn't make it a flaw. That's just a difference. The real place that you're going to see wear is on the hardware connecting the two handles. And that's because the handles will move up and down. They're rubbing constantly. So this, I would say, is by far the worst spot. And I'll give you a close up. You can see there's some discoloration. And that's the worst of it, but there's a bit of almost that rubbing look on all the rest of them. But nothing nearly as bad as that one. That one's got kind of the most discoloration into the tone. But even the parts that connect to the purse, they're really not that bad. I'll give you a close up. So given that this purse is super old, it's done really well. Here, the shape is kind of losing itself. Again, you can see that it's collapsing. But when I put in the bag organizer, not an issue. Not an issue at all. So to me, that's okay. So this has been my review of my two Lady Dior's in both pink and red. We've got more vintage, more worn, and a little bit more pristine. So I hope you've enjoyed. If you have any questions about this bag, fire it below. I'd love to chat more about it. Again, my name is Lexi. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I will link you to another video. Thanks.